Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of the Age Interrupted podcast. I'm your host, Jill White, functional pharmacist and certified personal trainer. I'm happy to have you here with me. So today we're going to talk about the F in my proprietary system frameworks. So that's a system that I use to help my clients completely recomposite their body, lose fat, increase muscle, but do it in a way that's sustainable for life. So what does frameworks even stand for? That's what we're getting at. I'm really doing an introduction of each of the tenets in the framework system. We kind of already covered R just as an intro. We know the R is recovery. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit to get the F first, and then we'll continue on. And throughout this podcast, over the episodes, we'll dive deeper and deeper into these topics. I just really want to give a nice high-level overview of the framework system to get us going. So with that, F. F, it stands for fasting with food. And the with food is very important, which we're going to talk about. I'm going to discuss some clinical trials here in a little while, but let's just talk a little bit about fasting in general beforehand. As you may or may not know, fasting is seen in many religions around many cultures throughout history. Dating back in Christianity, the Christian Bible shows that Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And there were numerous other fasts that appeared in the Bible. In addition, many Christians today will still do what's called the Daniel fast. In the Muslim community, we have Ramadan every year, which is basically a type of intermittent fasting where they don't eat from sunrise to sunset for an extended period of time. And then lastly, another example would be in the Jewish community. They have a type of partial fast where during their Feast of Unleavened Bread, they abstain from food with leaven in it, oftentimes yeast or baking soda. So that is basically fasting from homemade breads, or not just homemade, but any breads and cookies and things that rise. So that would be a partial fast. So this leads us to believe, when we see it in religions, that not only does fasting have a benefit to our health, which we're going to look at in a moment, but also possibly has some spiritual and mental positive benefits as well. So great reasons to incorporate fasting into your system. Now, I want to point out that in the framework system, we don't fast completely. It's not a fast where you're only drinking water, and it's not even for an extended period of time. In the framework system, we fast with food, and we do it one day at a time. So whether that be once a week or twice a month, somewhere in between, that's what we're looking at in our fasting with food program. And what that does is, over the period of the week, if you consider your calorie and macro intake, not only does it help to bring our weekly calories down, it's also going to have a lot of positive health benefits, which I'll talk about in a moment. But on top of that, speaking to episode 6, it works our discipline muscle. And it does take discipline, even when you're fasting with food, to just say no to maybe your typical meals, your favorite, fill in the blank, whatever it is you're having to say no to for the day. But that's okay, because we're all working our discipline muscle. And we can do this because we're the boss of ourselves, right? So let's look at a few of the studies that talks about it. So as far as health benefits, what are we looking at for health benefits with fasting with food? So in this particular study, this was looking at fasting with food and looking at markers and risk factors for aging, diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. And so after they ran this study for 3 months, they did an analysis at the end called a post hoc analysis. And so that's just them going back and looking at all the results. And what they found was that the fasting with food arms of the study showed that body mass index, blood pressure, fasting glucose, IGF-1, triglycerides, total and LDL protein, total and LDL cholesterol and C-reactive protein were more beneficially affected in participants at risk for disease than in subjects who were not at risk. So that shows that the fasting with food is safe, feasible, and effective in reducing markers and risk factors for age and age-related diseases. Also, in the study, the arms that were doing the fasting with food showed reduced body weight, trunk and total body fat, lowered blood pressure, decreased insulin like growth factor 1, etc. So that's the health benefits that we're looking at when we incorporate fasting with food into our system. And the reason why, so it's important, let's talk about real quickly, and then I'll tell you more about the study that supports it. But why do we want to do fasting with food as opposed to just fasting? Because anyone can fast for free, right? We just don't eat. The problem with that is that we then highly risk, losing the hard-earned muscle that we're working so hard to gain. And this, during our program, while you're doing the body recomposition, losing fat, building muscle, is just not the time to lose that muscle by doing fasting. The risk benefit is just not there. We don't want to fast without food during the program, but yet we would like to reap the benefits of fasting with food during the program. So we have these health benefits, and then when there was another study ran looking at the fasting with food, not reducing skeletal muscle function in healthy young adults. So what that study said was there was a significant decrease in body mass for the fasting with food group to the tune of over 5 pounds they lost compared to those on a normal diet. So during this time frame, the fasting with food group lost 5 pounds and the normal diet did not lose any weight. Maybe I think it said half a pound or less. But the important part is, and the part that matters to us, is that the neuromuscular parameters, so just the things that have to do with the muscles, such as force production, which is strength, muscle volume, so how much muscle they have, did not change between either group. So whether they were doing the fasting with food or having a normal diet, the muscle volume and their strength did not change across the visits. And so these results were even similar when they looked at parameters, normalizing muscle volume. So meaning if someone had more or less muscle coming in, they just level set it to where they were comparing apples to apples in this study. So this is why we use this particular system that has been researched at the university level and is actually patented during our frameworks program, because though we want the benefits of the fasting, we do not want to lose muscle and we won't risk it. It's not the time. Maybe there's a time and a place for fasting completely, but we work the fasting with food into our system. And like I said, how do we do it? What does that look like? In the framework system, we fast with food from 1 time a week to up to, that's the most, 1 time a week, 4 times a month, to down to, I guess I should say, 1 time through the month. But I definitely recommend at least every other week. That's optimal, 2 to 4 times a month, what you can do. And like I said, that's when we're working our discipline muscle a little bit, but we're not starving. We're already eating healthy throughout the weeks. So we're not having those sugar headaches or cravings or mood swings from one day. It's really not that serious, but yet we get a lot of positive benefits. We do get a little extra work on our discipline muscle. And it's just really good for overall weekly macro intake in general. It is a boost of fats, and so it helps to keep our hormone levels balanced. Also, is another reason why I like to do it, because it's more of it's a time where we have a lower protein, lower carb, higher fat day thrown in. And so it's really just a great benefit all around. Makes your day easy to plan for food as well, because it's all a system that you just open up and eat throughout the day. So anyways, that is the F in frameworks. Like I said, we'll talk a lot more about it going forward. And so just, I guess, I haven't explained this yet. Frame, Frame, those are the 5 tenets that help make this lifestyle healthy and doable forever. Because you know what I say, to remember to enjoy the process, because health and fitness is a lifelong journey. And until next time, have a good day.